let's just also make sure that we understand that last night, as I go and talk to people online all the time, I'm always like going into chat rooms, forums, everywhere to tell my story. Every single social media app has a story that I'm telling. Why? Because it's record keeping. It's like if I disappear, they'll all understand that they had everything in front of them and chose not to look, okay? And why did they choose not to look? Do you know the answer? Because it will make them do something. Because the evidence will speak for itself. And if they look, then they'll have to do something because they have a duty to act. And by that duty alone, they choose to have, I guess, the favorite excuse to not look, which is I'm crazy and delusional and schizophrenic or something's wrong with me. It's the same script since they were prosecuting people before Jesus's birth and when they were converting everyone to Judaism and like crucifying and putting people on execution when they were trying to still speak to God when they were no longer allowed to speak to God. So remember, does everybody know that when Judaism was converted and nobody was allowed to speak his name? Does anyone know God's name? You believe in him, right? Do you know what his name is? I mean, the God that you were told to follow after the conversion. And it's been like the same style of conversion around the entire world over and over and over. Yahweh was his name. That was the God that ate all the other gods and was like, no more other gods. And also civilization, you can't talk to this God anymore. Only the high priest can speak to this God. And so during the first conversion of religion, they decided to call people crazy and started to use the fact that they were still speaking to God or their gods, plural, meaning they didn't want to believe in Yahweh. And so they forced people into institutions and killed them if they said if they didn't do as they were told. That went on for like 600 years before Jesus' birth. So when Jesus was born, he was born after all of that conversion. So he was like, false God over there. That was his purpose. Every colonized place eventually has a generation that's born with nothing, has nothing to lose, is angry about listening to everybody complain and give up. And they basically birth a full generation of people that finally have had enough and will have no say in the regime and will just basically sacrifice everything because they have nothing to sacrifice, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like after 600 years, Jesus was born into a world where people were getting put on poles, like their head stuck on poles and crucified for like saying Yahweh or still speaking to their God or like trying to act like they believed in something else. That's the same thing that happens to indigenous people here. And it's like the same thing that happened during the Spanish Inquisition, the same thing that happened during the Roman conversion into Catholicism, because they weren't actually, Catholic, right? Anyways, long story short, the use of medical institutionalization of people's brains as a means to discredit them started during the conversion of Judaism, I believe. I'm not 100%, but that is the earliest record I could actually find and source. Now, that same style of discrediting follows the same migratory pattern of conversion therapy all the way through. You can absolutely follow the history books and see the same pattern. You don't have to believe me. I'm not speculating. I'm basing this off historical fact, okay? So you can do your own research or you can believe me. I'm not lying. So I have been, basically because of my autism and because I'm a little bit aloof and weird and like differently toned than other people, I get told that I'm crazy all the time since a kid. So I have grown up with the understanding that if I don't have evidence that explicitly proves what I'm saying, then I'm just going to be immediately discredited. So it's very strange as I'm like holding evidence up and people still want to call the evidence crazy, because that's what people are doing now. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to look at the facts that I have gathered on your behavior, not doing your due diligence and doing your own research to prove me wrong, or to determine that like I'm crazy. Like, you're not even doing that. You're just like writing it down, right? And saying it. You're gaslighting me into thinking that I don't have sense or the evidence. You're telling me that I don't have the evidence, but you won't look at the evidence. So who's really delusional? Who's really the crazy one? Not me. And I mean that with my whole heart. So that's the interlude. Now, I go on all these social media and trying to tell my story and present evidence everywhere. And God made me a mess for a reason. That is making a mess. I'm making a mess so big that as they try to continue deleting stuff, erasing this, erasing that, I've got 10 other messes over there that they have to worry about. And I'm not like using any kind of pattern that they can catch up on. I'm literally spamming everything I can possibly find, and I am getting deleted everywhere I go. But then I get pictures of the deletion and I take that and I post it somewhere else. I post them deleting the evidence on another one. It's a mess. They hate me. They really do. They hate that I'm a mess. They hate that I have evidence. They hate that they have been telling me for 8 years that I'm crazy as I present evidence that disproves I'm crazy. It's not in my head, it's actually documented. So, with that being said, last night and today I've been meeting people. I don't know who they are. I don't know who's a friend and who's a foe, but I treat everybody the same until they start acting weird or showing me motives. I pay close attention to how people behave, okay? And I basically try to act like a role model. And for one thing, I want to say very clearly that there are certain portions of the world that are just more compromised than others. One, the gay community. Seriously, I think evil is keeping the lights on through basically conscripting the gay community, which are already kind of self-proclaimed perverts, and like they're already like going to hell in a handbasket proudly. I'm not joking. Like, I go into gay forums as an ex-gay, meaning I'm now a demisexual, because I can't associate to these people anymore, okay? I can't. I mean that. A lot of gay people have passed the threshold for me of morals, and they're too easily conscripted into doing awful things. All right, so, and also it's a perfect place for predators to hide. So I've already noticed my whole life that a lot of perverted people, like pedophiles, hide within the gay community because the gays love to do this daddy-son thing. Wow, it's so convenient that that's what pedophiles want. And I've always said my entire life, look, Dandon just joined into my Zoom room. So I created a Zoom account and I go into these rooms full of gay people and I try to yell at them and try to get them to stop doing what they're doing and to try to pay attention to what they need to do, which is isolate the perverts in the room before they keep fucking distracting themselves, we'll say. I think the gay people have basically given up on healing, and they just basically, I mean, I used to be this way. I mean, you used to just like drown your sorrow in pleasure. Drugs, they're doing sex, they just do hedonistic crap, okay? That's what I see. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. That's what happens to a lot of people with trauma. But like, they're doing it in a room with perverts, like open perverts. And they've been doing this for a long time. I have always said that you cannot be gay and a pedophile in the same time. Okay, that doesn't match. You can't be like attracted to like kids and adults. If you're attracted to kids, you're a pedophile. You're not gay. If you're not attracted to kids, then you're normal, right? Like, you've done consensual admiration. I think that's okay, as long as it's like consensual. And it's like, gay men like men, right? Usually. And the ones that like kids are pedophiles, not gay. You can't be both, all right? And I've never seen someone who likes kids like adults too, all right? Like they don't do it. And they're always the same kind of weird, meaning they never quite show their face. And if they do, they've got this like weird, like deer in the headlights look on their face when they speak to me, because I ask a lot of questions and I try to get them to prove to me that they're a good person, and they don't know how to do it. I've been around a lot of predators, meaning I'm a very good looking person, and for some reason I look very easy, and so every predator that crosses my path thinks that they want something and it's easy to get. So they all come to me. I don't look for these people. They come to me, and I get targeted because I am a irresistible piece of meat that they can't avoid. And I'm talking about gay people do this to me as well. Gay people have, become predators as well in my life, and they have preyed on me as an adult as well as a child. Like perverts have done so as a child. So I'm like trying to get evidence. I don't really want to change anybody anymore. I'm like, okay, you guys are like, I don't want to be gay anymore. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change myself, and I'm going to say no more being gay. I'm going to be a demisexual, which means I need to be in love to be attracted to you, which is absolutely where I am at. And I've always been there. I just didn't really know the word existed. And I'm like trying to get evidence, because this is where these pedophiles hang out, is in these gay Zoom rooms, because they just have this laissez-faire, open accessory. Like, they don't even get looked down on because like it's so normalized in the community for some unknown reason. So here I am. And I just so happened to decide to create a Zoom room because I was talking to people yesterday, and I was like, well, I'd like to have my own little meeting room. So I go and I create my little meeting room. And what do you know? It gets hijacked within like 2 hours. It gets turned into like this totally different kind of marketplace room. And then all of a sudden I don't have the password anymore. And I was like, oh, it's been hijacked. And oh, my account's been closed. Okay, so another thing deleted. Let's get evidence of that. And I go and I start getting these emails all night. Ding, 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 ding. What the fuck is going on? All these weird people keep going into my old room that was mine, that is now closed, but now is in the hands of somebody else. Well, guess who all these people are, everyone? Oh, a very different collection, a very eclectic group. Oh, yes, I mean very eclectic. Like, I mean the most eclectic group I've ever seen in my life. And you got to remember, gay people are really, really, like, superficial, and so like you don't see eclectic groups in the gay community unless they're like during Pride and trying to be diverse, which is usually not this well integrated like the one I saw tonight. So we got this gangster from France that pretended he couldn't speak English, but he could because his friends spoke English and weren't French. And then we had these Spanish guys. We had these Taiwan guys. We had this Persian living in Germany. So he told me he was Afghani, but he spoke Farsi. And I'm like, you're not Afghani, you're Persian, buddy. I know you. You look at the way you sound. You sound so elitist. None of them would show me their face. The one Taiwan guy tried to come in and pretend he was a good guy. And I was like, hey, who are you? Why are you in my room? Why do I keep getting, look at these emails I keep getting, like every hour or two. One person comes into this room for what? And the guy I took pictures, okay? The guy in Germany, this Persian in Germany, looked like he was fucking sitting in a fucking basement room that literally the first thing I thought of was like, oh my God, this looks like a serial killer movie. It's like white tiles, and it's like I don't even want to describe it because it's going to give me nightmares. It does not look clean. It does not look safe. It does not look like I would ever want to talk to them. Plus, they're not showing me their faces. I'm like, who are you guys? I got my face open. I'm not afraid of anything. What are you afraid of? And I kept like poking them. And I got them, basically all working very closely together. These completely different people, very clearly criminals, all criminally hijacking my account, all trying to clean up their mess that I found. And they're all in these countries that are the highest in child trafficking and missing kids. Okay. So that's evidence. Now, what do you guys think? Do you think that something could be this normalized and so easily controlled in front of everybody? Meaning, I reported this to Zoom since 2022, and these pedophiles just keep coming back. It's like you knock out 4 and 20 come to their grave. Okay? It's like when you pull out a gray hair and 100 of them come out after. So if it's that to me, if that's what I'm witnessing and collecting evidence on, does anybody really believe that knocking down a few pedophiles at the top or it's going to have any effect at all on the problem when there are that many working together around the world? And I mean, I can tell when I have a pervert in front of me. They're not normal people. And I mean that. I mean, once you can justify harming a child, there is nothing you won't do. Meaning, that is the worst thing you could ever do. You're destroying a spirit of a child. I don't care what happened to you. You could have been hurt as a child and you could have had your spirit destroyed too. I had that road and I still chose a different pathway. I had a lot of damage from my child abuse and I had to go to therapy and I had to put a lot of effort in and not being a hateful, spiteful, jaded person. And I'm still pretty angry all the time. But I don't want to become what they were and destroy spirits. Seems like everybody does in those situations. But let me tell you this. You cannot justify harming a child and destroying their spirit and then have morals for anything else. So once you do that, everything else is okay. Meaning there's no moral boundaries for these people. So they have this blank stare, this shark look on their face. And it's very easy for me to tell when I'm looking at somebody who has absolutely no moral boundaries. Plus they're scared to be caught. Plus they have a tenacity to work with very eclectic people because you don't find a whole group of white predators in one room all going to the Christmas party together. You can, but you usually find one over there, one across the road, one down the street, and they're not the same people. They're all different races, they're all different ages, they're all different backgrounds. Well, isn't that just what this little eclectic group was? Perfectly. Okay? So why did they hijack my account? Why were they all the people that I've been having issues with? Meaning I've had the same accusations being made since 2022 against the same people and countries who had hacked my shit in 2022. Why are the same countries circling me and hijacking my Zoom account? And why doesn't anybody want to look at it? Do you think I'm crazy? Because I actually think everybody else is crazy to think that knocking down a few pedophiles is going to do anything when I've been knocking down hundreds and all I get are thousands more. Literally, when I knock down a couple hundred, they surrounded you. They're everywhere, in every country, everywhere, all over the fucking world. They work together now through the internet. Globalization was a huge Kickstarter for predatory behavior and the predators, and they have been able to share all of their predatory behavior through globalization, and they have definitely worked together like the pack of wolves they are. Prey have not had that opportunity. We have not collectively gotten together and tried to prepare for this collective knowledge that predators have been definitely taking a lot of great privilege in. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is a very serious conversation, meaning that it is absolutely verifiable that predators around the world, even the ones in government, from the government to the pedophiles, whatever level of predator you want to look at, they work together very well. Okay? They want a lot and they don't have a lot of people on their team. They work together very well. So that means when globalization happened, all these little pockets around the world of predators began to work and globalize their knowledge, and the prey did not evolve together. That is a huge problem.